this video I'm going to go over some flashings and just fix some flashings in the bedroom and whatnot, and show you how I do it. Pretty exciting times. Tomorrow I go for my HR license. So in Australia you need a heavy rigid license to operate a vehicle that's over 4.5 tonne. Well, you got your medium rigid, heavy rigid. I think heavy rigid's over 9.5 tonne. But I'm going for my HR license tomorrow, and then if I pass, it cost me like 1,200 bucks. But if I pass, I'll be able to upgrade my license to a HR, then I'll be licensed to drive this bad boy. So there'll be nothing stopping us then. We'll have the license, it's registered. All that's waiting for us then is the open roads. So what I've done so far, hooked up some flashings so far. These are 50 by 50 internal flashings. That's the best kind of profile I could get for this little custom jig right here. I think what I'll do is I'll just get some white silicone, fill that in with some white silicone and try and smooth it out that way. That's the end cap. So I finished the end of the wall off. I think that looks really neat. One thing about the flashings is when I ordered these flashings, all the right angle external angles, like you normally have them at 90 degrees is your standard typical right angle, but because of the head of the screw and the head of the pop rivets, there's sort of a slight undulation on the internal angles and external angles. So the guys at the sheet metal shop, when they folded them up, I got them to fold for external angles for the end cap pieces here. I got them to do, instead of having a 90 degrees right angle on this corner, I got them to do a 95. So on both sides, so a 95 closed the gap up inwards a bit, which allowed the sides to spring open and clamp down on the face of the wall. So that helped give me a better profile when it came to sealing off along the edge of the wall. So that's a nice tight fit now. Like I haven't even glued them on or anything. I struggled to get them on there. There was a lot of spring in it, and they're just clamped onto the wall, and they're not going nowhere. But I'll eventually sort of take them off and glue them. I have glued these flashings here with the internal right angles. I got them to, so externals, I got them to go 95 degrees, but the internal angles, I got them to go 85 degrees, so 5 degrees less than a true right angle. And I did that because I wanted to flange the right angle out a little bit for the same reason, to allow for the undulation of the screw heads or pop rivets. And that way I could get a nice smooth sort of finish on the wall surface. This one's a good example. So that worked out well. I asked the guys at the shop metal place if they could do that, and they said yes. You know, and that worked out really well. So this bloody window reveal was the biggest pain in the ass to measure and cut. In hindsight, I wish I'd done them first now. Instead I've gone and put the backrest on. Nicely, I've got a video that will show how I've done all that, but got the backrest on. And I manufactured a shelf at the back as well. So that's all nicely measured and cut to butt nice and tightly into the existing carpet. I'm actually quite proud of that effort. I got all that on first, and then I put the window reveal on, and it was the biggest pain in the arse to try and cut and notch around everything behind the back of the backrest. I don't know if you can see in there, it's a little bit how you're going, but I'm really happy with how that window reveal came out. Okay. Okay, I'll see you soon. So to sit down here and look at them window reveals now, they look nice and plumb. Same thing with these window reveals as well. The externals, I got them to do 95-degree bends instead of 90 degrees. Just so this little right angle here would clamp down against the wall. You have a nice smooth finish. It's covered up all the screw holes and all the pop rivets in behind there. So yeah, effectively it's just going to look like one smooth solid sheet. Now we jerry rigged some curtains. We've got some curtains up in there I don't really like. I know they might look alright once we iron them out, sort of thing, but one thing I don't like about the curtains is the back. The backing's white. We've got the sun block out curtains. We've got this thick white backing, and then you can see that from the outside of the bus looking in, and it just looks tacky. It doesn't look, it just looks tacky. I don't want to be pulled up somewhere and people can see these curtains through the glass, so I think I'm going to get some window tint. I'll tint these windows and black them out with some window tint later on down the track, and that should fix that problem. So yeah, quite happy with how all these right angles, all the flashing is finished up. It's not a necessity, but when you're doing your flashings and stuff, you want all your angles where they meet to be nicely like a 95-degree angle. And as you can see here, this is an offset angle because the rake of this and the rake of that is not exactly a 90-degree angle in here, so that puts your angle out where you overlap. So I kind of just cut them to where I think would suit. But the way to get a true angle is the edge of this flashing there should meet up with the edge of that flashing. So by the look of that, if I just put a mark right there and then I run a line from that mark to nothing up at this miter, that will give me the custom miter cut that I need just to finish that angle off properly. It's not necessary, it just depends on how picky you are, and you know, I'm just a fussy shit. If I didn't do them miters properly, I'd be laying back in bed looking up at them every day, and it would just irritate me. It would really just drive me bonkers. So I've taken the extra time, as you can see here, for an example, where originally it was over here. I come in and I marked it to where this flashing meets this flashing. They should meet right on the edge, not up in here anywhere. And that just gives you a nice finished profile. But these flashings are a lot of tedious work. I've spent, just to do the flashings that I've showed you and the end caps and stuff, I've put probably bloody 6 hours, 7 hours just into that little bit of work. This one here alone, that took me nearly 2 hours just to get that all cut, set and right. So it is time consuming, tedious work. I suggest you sort of space it out and do it over a period of days, just a few hours each day sort of thing. You try and do it all at once, it would just drive you bloody nutty. But yeah, I'll show you what I'm doing with this one. So that gives me the true miter. I'll cut that out with the grinder and that should line up nicely. I'll just plug it on there now so you can have a look at it as a stencil. You can see that pencil line meets up with the existing angle. So when I cut that out, that should go in there nicely. Another little trick with these flashings you probably want to know is once you cut them with a grinder, you're going to have a lot of burred edges, like so. And the general consensus is to grab a file and then sit there with a hand file and file all them edges off. But I use a Stanley knife and I find it works better, quicker, faster, easier. So why not? I find when I cut the flashings with the grinder, the heat from the grinder melts a bit of the plastic protective layer around the edges of the cut. Let's use a Stanley knife blade. If you don't have a builder's square or anything like that to get your miter cut, personally I never use builder's squares. So to get my miter cut, what I'll do in this situation, my return from the flashing is 50mm. So to get like a perfect square 90-degree miter, all I do is I measure in off the end here, measure in 50mm, and that mark represents the actual thickness of this. So then you create this 50mm by 50mm perfect square. Once you've got your mark there, then all you have to do is draw a line from nothing, from this corner to your 50mm mark, and whatever that line is that you've drew, connected them two dots with a straight edge, and whatever that will cut your angle out there, and that will give you a true miter for a 90 degrees. So this is the cut that I want. I want a 90-degree internal miter on that corner here. And then I want the window flashing to stop here, but I want this to overhang from there to there. I want that to overhang 50mm. So I want to cut all of this out. And I want to cut this here out. Now I've done all their measurements without a builder's square, or just to get my length. I've taken two measurements, one on this edge and then one off this edge, two marks, put a straight line and a straight edge between them, and drew my straight line that way. So this whole cut's going to be done without a builder's square, just to show you that it can be done quite accurately and professionally. So if you don't have builder's square laying around, there's other techniques. Like they say, there's more than one way to skin a cat. Alright, I'll cut this out. How'd you go? Okay, so the tape there should hold the flashing, the window reveal in until the silicone sticks and sets. So I'll leave that overnight and then I'll come along and pull the tape off and Bob's your uncle. Okay.